Welcome to this Wednesday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford studio this afternoon, a little after 1 o'clock as we are hitting the button. We talked to Lane Kiffin about an hour ago. We'll discuss nothing overly newsworthy, but a couple topics that are worth mentioning from Lane, a few days away from Ole Miss, and Auburn, 11 a.m. Saturday from Vaught Hemingway Stadium. So there's that. Also, as I was driving to the studio a few minutes ago, Ross Dellinger with the scoop that LSU is doing some self-imposed sanctions. If there's any podcast that can talk about the NCAA, it's us. So we'll discuss that here in a minute. We'll go through that a little bit as well. So we'll hit some of that stuff. LSU self-imposing pretty lightly, but smartly. We'll get into that and more on the podcast brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford. You can get the Speed Pass Plus app. It's an easy way to pay right there at the pump on your phone, efficient and easy, get you back on the road at all Blue Sky locations across Mississippi. Also in Oxford, you get the $5.69 lunch special every weekday, 2 sides bread, 32-ounce drink, and more there at the Oxford Exxon. And coming to you from the Clark Ford studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900. 662-257-1900. Call that number, ask for Corey Clark, tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. It's that simple. It's right to the bottom line. Corey wants to be your car guy. He wants to be a truck guy. He'll prove it to you when you make the call. 662-257-1900. Guest will join us on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. I'm working on a couple things for our pregame show on Saturday. So working on some stuff there. And you can enjoy your time at Rafters Music and Food on the Square. Also Rafters in New Albany and Rafters on the Water. They have drink specials, great food, just a great place to hang out, great environment, even in these unprecedented times.
Times are unprecedented, and hopefully they stay unprecedented. Hopefully we're not like doing this again in like 2027 or something like that. That would kind of suck. So
won't go here long. I'm curious. Get your thoughts. I ask everybody this. I have not asked you this.
You ask everybody this.
I ask a lot of people this.
All right.
1 year from right now, October the 21st, 2021.
Okay.
What's it look like? What's our country look like from a COVID standpoint, the way we're behaving standpoint, how divided we are standpoint? What's our country look like? Because our country's not a real pleasant place right now.
I think COVID has dissipated to the point that it's pretty normal. I don't know that we ever go 100% normal again.
All right, define what you just said.
Yeah, I know. Look, I think we're going to sit at bars without plexiglass glass in a year. I think we're going to function societally pretty normally in a year. I do.
Are we wearing masks in and out of restaurants in a year?
No, I don't think so. No. I think
I think we are.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I think okay. Let me. There's no government mandate to wear a mask. Most people won't. Some people will. I do think the larger portion.
And that's fine.
Yeah. I think there's a larger portion of people that go, you know what? Sure. Yeah. I do think you'll have some people, and frankly, look. Overall, not in a lot of some Asian countries, Japan, Korea, during cold and flu season, they wear masks.
Sure.
Now they're pretty cramped up on one another, but they wear masks. Okay, cool, no problem with that. I don't think it will be government mandated a year. I really don't.
You don't think there's any regulations on masking or social distancing in a year?
No, I don't.
Really?
No, I paused on social distancing, but that's so hard to regulate that. No, I think in a year it's not. I don't.
Stadiums full in a year?
Yeah. I think stadiums are pretty full. Now, I guess here's my catch on that. Could there be some sort of guideline for something maybe? But yeah, I think all that stuff's pretty normal. I think there's more voluntary mask wearing. I do think people are going to be more hesitant to shake hands. Some of those things we've talked about for a long time.
Okay.
I think that's very possible. I think mannerisms change. I think a lot of that stuff is different. I think that well, here's what I'm waiting on, and this speaks to what you're talking about. I mean, we got an election in 13 days, 14 days, whatever.
13 days.
Yeah,
13 days.
We have an election in 13 days, and I get this is the height, or this is close to the height of this crazy time period, because, look, I think this thing's going to go to court probably. I think we're going to be dealing with this for some time after actually Election Day.
I do too.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I just do. Barring some landslide electoral college victory, I think that's the case. So,
remind me to get into that in a minute, because we're gonna jump around.
We'll get
today.
to LSU in a minute.
Yeah,
guys.
it's been a weird day, to be totally honest with you. So, by the way, Ole Miss just landed a commitment. I'll tell you that. Yeah, because of course they would right about the time that we hit the button, but it was one that Zach Berry and I were ready for. Ole Miss just got a commitment from Devin Lee. He's a defensive tackle from Georgia. He had a number of offers. This was coming for a while. He had offers from Arizona State, Boston College, Duke, Georgia Tech, Kansas State, Mississippi State, North Carolina State, UAB, Wake Forest, Vanderbilt, and Virginia Tech. So he's the third defensive tackle in this class, joining Tysheem Johnson. I'm sorry. I got to do a little editing on something. Never mind.
All right.
We build these
We call them shells.
Shells, and sometimes when we make the mistake, and this was a Neal mistake, we date the shell a little bit.
Oh, you can't date the
and
shell.
you can't date the shell.
Yeah. It's essentially a pre-written story.
Right.
For the kid.
Yeah. So you just go in and add the.
While you're doing that, yeah. Look, here's my concern. And I still haven't watched Social Dilemma, so I'm not just picking up stuff from that. Social media is such a cancer on the world. It allows everybody to have an opinion. It allows attention spans to shrink to the level that they have. And frankly, I know it's a smaller segment of the populace. It's Twitter more than Facebook, but it's both to some extent. Twitter allows for more anonymity. Facebook doesn't necessarily. It's created a toxicity that's a huge problem. That's what I'm curious about. And politics and media fan it, ignite it in a lot of ways as well. I want to see what politics come if Trump loses. Now, if he wins, it probably gives him a mandate to be the same or more as he is right now, honestly. Because, I mean, what's the repercussion otherwise?
The one thing, if he wins, that will, I think, be refreshing, because I think if we're all honest, we all have some Trump fatigue.
Sure.
He can't run again.
Yeah, of course. But I don't think it changes his actions day to day, is my point. He's not suddenly going to stop using Twitter or anything.
No.
Or frustrating the mainstream media. And this isn't, oh my God, let me pro-Democrat at you. It's just, I'm wondering with Trump out of office if he loses. And I think it's closer than people think. I don't see some 10-point.
I don't either. And I did until I listened to a podcast yesterday that I'll tell you about in a second.
I don't. I wonder if we get back to any more normalcy politically, because that does transform so much. I'd really like to know who's running in 2024. I'd like to know what that looks like. I want to know if we've gotten to the point where we chill the hell out and we move backwards at all. And I don't know the answer to that, but just social media, everything.
What's your 20? Let's see if we get it right. If we're still doing this in 4 years and one of us gets close to this, it'll be a miracle. Who's running in 2024 for president? Who are the two primary candidates for president? I'll give you my prediction.
I've got mine.
Okay.
You want me to go first?
Sure.
I think Biden wins.
I do too.
I think it's Kamala Harris against Nikki Haley.
I think it's Kamala Harris against Tom Cotton.
Okay. Fair enough. We'll see.
Yeah.
I think it's female versus female in 4 years.
I used to think Haley would be strong enough to pull it off. I don't think she is anymore. I don't.
I want to see what the parties do. Somebody says Crenshaw. I think that's still a little far away, even if it started to whatever. He doesn't have enough mainstream pull at this point. Now, look, in 04, Obama was not even a senator yet. So
right.
Stuff happens. I mean, I get it. I did listen to the 04 Wicked game. It was actually pretty good. It was better than I was anticipating.
I have not heard it yet. I've got it.
Yeah. Sorry, 08. Sorry,
08, yeah.
Because
it was a lot about Hillary, right?
It starts about Hillary, but it gets Obama fast.
Okay.
No. It's mostly Obama, and then it gets into Sarah Palin mostly.
Okay.
But no, it leads off with Hillary losing Iowa and Bill going, "You guys are screwed," and then kind of goes from there.
Which was a precursor for 8 years later when Bill kept saying, "Why don't you listen to me? I know how to run one of these."
I'm just potentially the best politician in the Democratic Party in 60 years, but sure. I want to see if we've hit a point where we reverse back a little bit. That's what I want to know. I want to know, do we become sane in 4 years, in a year? Have we reached this reality TV version of politics where we're kind of hey, we can't get any crazier than this. And now what do we do?
So this is where, and I'm sorry, but guys, it's 13 days away from a big election, and I think this is a topic.
We used to do this a whole lot more than we do now, frankly. If we didn't have that little stream there, we would be doing this a whole lot more than we currently do.
So what's interesting to me as I watch...
You haven't Newsom
No. Now, I will tell you this. There are people in California that are hopeful that if Biden wins, Newsom and or Garcetti will be added to Biden's team.
Oh.
There are people in California that just want them to go away somehow, some way.
Do something nationally, because that means you're not doing anything here.
What's interesting to me is to watch our field a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
These last couple of days, and make no mistake, there's a couple of things about the whole Hunter Biden story that I'm not particularly interested in.
Sure.
I don't care if he slept with prostitutes or not. He's not running for office, and I couldn't care less.
Mm-mm.
Now, the thing with the little girls, if that's true, that's a criminal thing, and that needs to be, and I would say that about anyone. What's interesting to me about the whole Hunter Biden thing is how, if we're honest with ourselves, if this were a Republican candidate and this laptop was out there and the FBI had said, as it did yesterday, that this is not some Russian intelligence thing.
Sure.
This is a laptop.
Sure.
The media would at the very least, when I say the media, I mean the mainstream media, would at the very least be digging deep. My suspicion is it would be the lead story on every broadcast. And for whatever reason, and I don't know whether it is just pure Trump fatigue, which Trump has brought on himself.
Sure.
I mean, Trump is in the midst of the worst campaign in American history, which is saying something because it's 4 years removed from the worst campaign in American history. Hillary ran an awful campaign by any measure, and Trump's running one that's actually worse.
Our friend has a very impossible job. Yes.
Yes. It's interesting to me that it gets no, not, when I say traction, I don't mean that they don't discuss it, because it gets discussed, but nobody says, wait a minute. Shouldn't we demand an answer from the Biden campaign on this one question? Did you, through your son, negotiate a deal for yourself with China, with the Ukraine? Where did all of this money come from?
Mm-hmm.
How did that happen? How did your son make $50 million? How did that happen? Because that is a question. It's a legitimate question to ask about the Trump kids being involved in the government. They weren't elected.
Sure.
Donald Trump was. Don Jr. wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
It's a legitimate question when people, and that question is asked. For some reason, I mean, listen, I think a legitimate question tonight is, where the hell is Hunter Biden?
Mm-hmm.
Yet I'm not confident at all. This is where I'm worried about where we are as a country. I disagree with you. I pray I'm wrong and you're right. I think a year from now we're more divided than we are today. I think it's more hostile than it is today. I think this COVID thing has become a political weapon that I don't know that the left will let go, because the right is so bad on health care, if we're honest. The right's awful on health care. And the virus has turned into a weapon, a hammer, if you will, that they can take and just bang, 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 and it's worked. Before the virus, Trump was going to win.
Yeah, sure.
Biden wasn't going to beat Trump if the economy was roaring and we were cruising right along.
Stupid.
It's the economy. It's always been the economy. It wasn't going to happen. So it's interesting to me that this story about Biden gets no traction. I don't think the moderator will bring it up on Thursday night. I think Trump will have to bring it up to Biden. And I don't know whether Biden will even answer it. And then if he doesn't answer it, I don't know that the moderator or the media as a whole will say, wait a minute, Mr. Vice President. It is a valid question. It's something that many Americans are wondering
Walker,
about.
NBC News moderator this week. I guess here's my counterpoint is we're in an election, so everybody's focused right now, okay? But let's say Trump wins, okay, but I think Trump brings so much social media on himself that I think you're more right if Trump wins for multiple reasons. I think he will keep things stirred up just because of the way he acts.
Yeah.
Biden's not going to tweet a lot. So my point being, when an election's over and it's a president that, if it's a president, because again, I think Trump very well could win this thing. Most people are just want to take care of their family. Most people are not overly worried. They're not watching Fox News and CNN every single night.
Right.
Most people are just, all right, we're gonna go to dinner and we're gonna go to a movie and we're gonna have a barbecue and we're gonna do this stuff.
Little Johnny's got a baseball game. Little
whatever.
Jenny's got cheerleading practice.
My
of
point
course.
being is, I do wonder, and you and I are both guilty of it to some extent because we're in the media, that we overemphasize people watching cable news, that we overemphasize people actually giving two shits about half of this stuff,
right.
where it's going to come and be more normal because there's not an election. Yeah, sure, midterms, but nobody's soberly focused on midterms to an extent that, like this at least.
That will be the will be the question. If Biden wins and they win the Senate,
what happens in midterms?
Do they overreach?
We'll have a Supreme Court issue a little bit. We'll do some of that, but for the most part, if the president and the administration is not all over social media and is not a lightning rod from a word of day standpoint, I think most people just ignore it and go back to their lives. I mean, in 2014, we were pretty divided as a country in a lot of ways, but we weren't doing the, oh my God, Barack Obama today thing. Everybody was just kind of hanging out.
Yeah, that's true.
Trump has been such the catalyst for this.
See, you are giving Biden more time in office than I am. I hope I'm wrong. I think we're electing Kamala Harris, and we're electing her pretty quickly.
Who knows? I don't know anything.
My hunch is that he gets to the midterms. But I watched this man who, I mean, look, let's keep another thing real here. If Donald Trump or a Republican candidate disappeared Sunday through Thursday, 2 weeks before the election, the media would be hammering this. Whereas, I mean, Mitt Romney, Bob Dole didn't disappear, and he had no chance. Instead, he barnstormed. Mm-hmm. I mean, he damn near killed himself campaigning.
Yeah.
This is odd. It begs a question. What are you doing? I mean, you don't need 4 nights to prepare for this debate. Where are you? Where is this? Or who are we electing? And that's why I believe we're electing Harris.
What I was about to say, I don't know this. And maybe everybody's going to go, oh, my God, conspiracy theory. Who knows? But if you're trying to hold the White House and trying to strengthen the Democratic Party, year 2 or year 3, Biden steps down and names Kamala Harris because then she becomes the incumbent running.
Right.
You don't have to worry about, let him get beat and then turn and you don't even have to worry about, hey, I'm only going to run one term.
Right.
But it still is head-to-head, no incumbent. You would have him back out and her become the
health issues and leave and have a week where everybody raves. But that
kind of thing.
I don't think he finishes his first term. All right, here's the question before we get to sports.
Yeah, sure.
So I was listening. Someone told me to listen to Rich Lowry's podcast, and so I pulled it up. I'll have to find the name of it in a minute. But he had on this Robert Cahaly, I think is how you say his name, from the Trafalgar Group.
Okay.
It's really interesting. It was more than an hour. I was listening to it while I walked the dogs and exercised and stuff. He was talking about, this is the guy that on the eve of the 2016 election had Trump leading in Pennsylvania, Florida, and Michigan.
Sure.
When everybody else, if you remember, the media said this is over, Hillary's going to win. Hillary thought she'd won.
Yeah, sure.
All that stuff. He said no. He was the first one who pointed out there's a unique effect here. A lot of people won't tell you they're voting for Trump, even though they're voting for Trump. And so I was listening to this interview with Rich Lowry.
Sure.
It was really good. Lowry asked a lot of questions. Lowry's not the greatest interviewer in the world. He's not the most dynamic personality in the world. In fact, he's very dry, which is what you would expect from someone who works for National Review.
Yeah.
But he did ask all the pertinent questions, and he got a lot of interesting answers about how difficult it is for pollsters to find enough right-wing people, conservative people, to give your poll validity.
Yeah, sure.
And he was talking about how he has to ask.
Trump's not pollable.
He asked to ask different kinds of questions, and he brought up, and I thought about it because I've gotten these calls before.
Sure.
where it's, will you take this poll? And I'm always the type of person that says, how long? And they won't answer. How long is this going to last? Because if it's 5 minutes, yes, but if it's 20 minutes, probably not. And if it's more than that, hell to the no. And he was talking about how with young people, you can't even get them to do it unless it's a text. And he said that a lot of these polling people will get young people, they'll send them a text, but the text is to a link. And he says they won't go to the link and answer the questions. No shot. He said, so you have to text back and forth with them. Very time consuming. And he's been doing that. Been waiting it and trying to get, he expects a high turnout. Most everybody does. So there's two things that are interesting, that there's a lot of people who say they're going to vote for Biden, but are they really going to get up and go vote for Biden? That happened with Hillary 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. It did not happen with Obama. The people who said, I'm getting up and voting for Obama, they by God did.
Yeah.
And the people who said, I'm going to vote for Trump, got up and did. Now there's more Trump fatigue, and he was just going on, and what he painted this scenario, and this is the nightmare scenario. He had Trump winning Michigan. He had Trump winning Ohio. He had Trump winning Georgia and Florida and Arizona. He had Trump losing Colorado. He had Trump losing Wisconsin, losing Minnesota. He said it comes down to Pennsylvania. He thinks the whole election comes down to Pennsylvania. Okay. And I don't know if you saw this, but on, I guess it was Monday night? I think it was Monday night. The Supreme Court ruled that Pennsylvania can still count ballots 3 days out.
Yeah.
We've got a real chance in this country. If he's right, and he might be wrong. I don't know. He was right in 16.
Sure.
In a time when everybody else was wrong, he was right. That gives you a limited amount of credibility going into 2020. Is that fair?
Of course, 100%.
He thinks it's close. He thinks Biden wins the popular vote by 2 to 3%,
sure,
which to me makes more sense than this, because all I see is fractured. I can't imagine someone getting 60% of the vote. He said that one of the things that's interesting is in the polling, who's the Libertarian candidate? I can't think of her name.
I honestly have no idea.
I follow her on Twitter.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do, because I'm a Libertarian more than I'm a Republican or a Democrat. And he said there's a lot of people that say they're going to vote for her in the polling. And he said those people.
Joe Jorgensen.
He said if you look at the follow-up questions that you ask those people, they're not voting for Jorgensen, they're voting for Trump. When they get behind the ballot and they're in the privacy of their own thoughts, when they vote their heart, they're going to vote Trump, not Jorgensen, because they're saying Jorgensen because it's a more palatable answer.
So it's a number of votes. I mean, it's a potentially a relevant number of votes. Now we're not talking about like Nader, who took the election from Gore, but just in general,
right?
It is at least a number that makes some sense.
Yes.
Well, I mean, Jill Stein absolutely made an impact 4 years ago.
Absolutely. So he was just saying.
Jill Stein, Green Party candidate.
I think that's right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and Nader absolutely changed an election.
Yeah.
He cost
Al Gore's the president if Ralph Nader pulls out.
There's no question about it.
Yeah.
He was saying that there are people that, because there's such a backlash if you say you're voting for Trump. I mean, look at Chris Pratt today.
Mm-hmm.
That people are scared in a recorded call to say out loud, yeah, I'm voting for Donald Trump.
Yeah.
They're afraid they'll lose their job. They're afraid they'll be ostracized. He said they get a call. They get a lot of people that go, is this really a poll?
Sure.
And he'll say, yes, Google this. And they Google it. And like, oh, okay, well, this is real. And then they answer. But he said a lot of people are like, I'm just out. It's very hard in the flyover states to get answers.
The states that matter, frankly, from a swing.
Yeah. He said the people who are eager to do a political poll are the people who are either far left or far right. Well, that's not most of us.
Yeah.
And so he was talking about how difficult it is, and he thinks this is going to be close.
Yeah.
He thinks it's going to be close. And if his scenario plays out where Pennsylvania is counting ballots on Thursday and Friday and the country's burning down, y'all can have it for a few days. I'm going to go hide someplace. I'm going to go find a beach. You think I'm kidding? Ole Miss doesn't play that weekend?
Yeah.
If it comes to that, I'm going to find a beach someplace.
Yeah. Oh, well, if you'd like some housing on that beach, Community Mortgage will be a place to call. Oxford, Memphis, Seto County, and Chattanooga. Underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. You're getting local underwriting, understands your market, leader in condo financing, the float down option, and more. You can find Jason at 662-234-2704 or JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
The Ole Miss men's and women's basketball team wants you in the pavilion this season. Season tickets on sale now, can be purchased by visiting OleMissTix.com. That's OleMissTix.com. We're also brought to you by Jupiter Security Systems, based in Madison, Mississippi. Jupiter Security Systems provide your business with a help desk, allowing you to get software at a much cheaper price than you would pay going directly to Microsoft or the other different cybersecurity services. It's very affordable, flat price, no hidden add-ons. For information, get in touch with Eric, 601-519-9583, or email info@jupitersecurity.net. We are also brought to you by the College Corner. It's one-stop Rebel Shop, 2 locations in the Jackson area. They sponsor our picks each Thursday. Those will be up tomorrow. I know mine are in. Zach's are in. Chase's will be in soon. Jeffrey sends his. So we'll have that to you on Thursday morning. It's collegecornerstore.com. They've got 2 locations, one in Ridgewood, one in Flowood. Ridgeland, Flowood. I keep creating Ridgewood.
You like Ridgewood.
Apparently I like Ridgewood, Mississippi. So if y'all are out there somewhere, God bless you. Through the month of October, mention Rebel Grove at checkout. Get 15% off your entire purchase. You can also use it online. Just put Rebel Grove in the coupon tab at checkout. And brought to you by the Iron Horse Grill. It's a perfect place for lunch, dinner, or Sunday brunch. It's located at 320 East Pearl Street in Jackson. That's the Iron Horse Grill. And brought to you by Dead Soxy. Don't forget deadsoxy.com. They sponsor the Soft Verbal Podcast with Zach Berry. As we told you, Ole Miss got a commitment earlier today. We'll have lots of recruiting coverage to you over the course of the next few months. Lane Kiffin talked about recruiting today. Talk about crazy scenarios. The college football version.
Season.
The college football version of American politics is a possibility in football. So we'll talk about that a little bit with Zach. We'll bring that to you. That's brought to you by Dead Soxy. It's deadsoxy.com, DEADSOXY.com, the best socks you'll ever put on your feet.
So, LSU, is that what you want to do? What do you want to do?
I'm good with
Ole
whatever.
Miss, LSU.
We can talk. We'll touch on the Ole Miss stuff real quick so we don't get accused of completely abandoning the Rebels here on Wednesday of game week. Lane Kiffin talked. It's up on the site. I did a quick little notebook from his Wednesday time with the media. I was telling Chase that with an exception or two, we are getting much better at asking Lane Kiffin questions that get answers. I think he's actually starting to get a little more comfortable with some of us. And
he seemed fairly not happy to see us, but pleasant today.
Yeah,
fine.
I don't think he ever walks up to Kyle Campbell and says, "Hey, do I get to go see Neal and David and Nick?" And I don't think that happens. I don't think he's eager to visit with us, but I don't think he dreads it quite as much as perhaps he did before.
You think he used to dread it more?
Yeah, a little bit. Not dread. I just think we didn't bring anything to the table. What's that?
We bored him.
Yeah, we bored him. I think we probably still bore the hell out of him. Anyway, he talked
COVID update.
He said COVID's the same. I think they're fine.
It sounds like they're fine.
Yeah,
frankly. Whatever.
He's still reflecting on the Arkansas game. That struck me. Usually, coaches by Wednesday, the past game is over.
Well, but like I said, I mean, again, coaches are confident. They're going to see their version of half full, half empty, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Turn the ball over 7 times. You have 2 4th and goals from the 1 you don't get, and you're up a kicker. And you had the ball with 3 left to go score. I mean, in his crawl, he's going, Jesus, 2 and 2.
Yeah.
Like, good God. Yeah. Just
let one go.
Because he says, we didn't have to play perfect. Just play okay.
Yeah.
Frankly, any of the effort they'd had in any of the other 3 games and they win the game. And that's what's frustrating him, is that they had this winnable game in front of them on the road and just didn't really show up. I mean, made a lot of mistakes, just played sloppily.
Yeah.
And if you play that sloppily, you're going to get run out of a lot of buildings moving forward.
And that's what he was basically saying, is that Auburn's better and they're going to have to play better. And I think he thinks they will play better. Hinted at a couple of position changes. You can ask, I don't know. A couple of guys, he said, you would know who they were, have moved from offense to defense.
I mean, things that would make sense would be maybe Jalen Cunningham at D tackle. I mean, I'm speculating out my ass I know nothing. I'm just trying to think.
Yeah.
He's played there. At least he was recruited both sides, like whatever. I don't know. Because you mentioned Mark Britt, but Mark Britt hasn't played.
No, and he's been over there for a while.
Yeah, that was – is Miles Battle over there? Is he a corner now or something?
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't think he's played either.
I know that's part of the job. It's the part of the job that I do the worst at.
The minutia of the –
when you ask me, hey, who's the 74th person on the roster? I don't know.
Well, we were watching the game in here that day, and nothing to do with his family. I'm sure y'all are great people, but some dude was hurt on the field, an Ole Miss player, and we were like, was that so and so? Then was like, oh no, that's so. It's like, oh okay. It didn't mean it rudely, but it was like, you know what I mean? All right, yeah, fine.
Just
It's okay. So yeah, I think they're fine. But then he talked about, he said, look, you get a free transfer. You got COVID rules potentially still going on. So kids are transferring to places that they never meet the coach. Mm-hmm. They don't know anything about the place they're going to. You're trying to also put a signing class together without actually meeting the kids. And you don't have relationships. It'd been one thing even if Kiffin had come straight from Alabama.
Right.
Because then there's SEC kids you just know.
You're going to
run across from time to
sure.
time and stuff. FAU and Ole Miss weren't recruiting the same dudes. So he doesn't know any of these kids. He didn't go into Mississippi and start trying to cherry pick kids. It's just... It's hard. He keeps saying that, and he knows that his toughest critics will say, hey, you're making excuses. So he always quantifies it with, I'm not making excuses.
I'm the one that asked about it today, and you can tell by his body language that he knows it's a legitimate question.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, I don't want to be negative, but – and I don't think it's negative. I'm one of the guys that's starting to get criticism for referring to it as year zero, but it is. How do you judge Lane Kiffin or the only one you can judge right now is screwing some things up is Leach because of what he's doing inside his own roster. How do you judge Lane Kiffin on this season? My question was, you didn't get a spring to evaluate. You didn't get a real summer to evaluate. You've had 4 games to evaluate. Has it changed your approach to recruiting? I didn't ask the question the way I wanted to. I wanted to say, has it changed your needs, the way you view your needs? Mm-hmm. But I think I would have gotten the same answer, which is, hell, we don't know what we're doing because we don't know the kids.
Yeah.
They don't know us. He said, we want to be able to evaluate them as people, not just players. You kind of want to bring mom and them to the building. Get to know them. How's this going to go? Because sometimes you can avoid disaster with the recruiting visit. A recruit comes to campus.
Yeah, are we getting...
A recruit comes to campus and steals stuff on his visit.
Are we getting Mike Hilton or are we getting Clarence Jackson? What are we doing?
Yeah. A recruit comes and steals stuff. Yeah. Gets into problems with the police. Literally, it happens. Yeah. Happened last year. Yeah. You need to know that. Oh, okay. Whew, bullet dodged.
Yeah.
But if you can't bring that kid to campus, you don't get to see how he interacts, how he treats people. How does he treat people in the building? How does he treat the females that are part of your program? How does he treat the hostess type people? There's some stuff that you can pick up from that. Look, you can fake it on a Zoom call for 30 minutes.
Sure.
Can you? It's hard to fake it over the course of an entire weekend when they put you in a lot of different environments.
Clarence was the guy that stole the TV out of Hume Hall, by the way. That's the reason that name was brought up. He did do him a favor, though, and leave his student ID and his license right there on his console when he bailed out of his vehicle. So there was that.
Ben Leslie says Pittman and Drinkwich are doing better, though, right? In what way? On the recruiting trail? I don't know. They have totally different recruiting philosophies.
Yeah,
I mean, Pittman's recruiting philosophy is south. Kiffin's is not. That's what I've said all along. I mean, I'm not sitting here telling you that Kiffin's is the right philosophy. I'm not telling you it's the wrong philosophy.
His philosophy is harder under these circumstances.
I'm telling you he has a different plan. Is it going to work? I don't know. But he's, to his credit, sticking to his plan, and what I think you're going to see is transfer craziness. Mm-hmm. And my gut feeling, and I'm not making this up, is that Ole Miss is going to be a preferred transfer destination. And you have to be careful as a coaching staff when you take a bunch of transfers at a school like Ole Miss, are they coming because they want to be a part of your program, or are they coming because they were disastrous at the program they were at? Are they beating the sheriff out of town, if you will? It's the posse out of town, beating the posse out of town. Or are they coming because they look at your offense or your defense and say, I'm a fit there and I want to play there?
Sure.
Well, you can't evaluate that if you can't do it in person. And then you don't know when these kids transfer, is the league going to sign off on interconference transfers? So do you want 7 kids from the SEC transferring in and taking your scholarships only to find out in August that they can't play?
Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting, creative. Roster shakeups like crazy. Just because what you're also going to get on the first-year staff is where they go, hey, U12, you're not SEC quality.
Yeah.
You're going to have that type of just cuts.
Yeah.
Just is what it is.
Oh, I mean, Ole Miss is going to transfer, process some guys. No question about it. You know, guys that don't belong at this level have figured it out. And they'll go to the Middle Tennessees or Southern Misses of the world, which is where they should have been in the first place. But, you know, when you got to sign a complete recruiting class and you can't see those kids, that's tough, man.
Just scrolling through quickly just to make sure that was it.
That's pretty much it. He talked about Bo Nix's feet, Auburn's physical, blah, blah, blah.
Kevin's still been around a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
He's coached against Kevin Steele before.
Coordinators try to.
Yeah, the other team's trying to win also.
Yeah. He does go back to that too, which is it's one of my favorite things coaches do. Like, you know, it's not in a vacuum. Like, we don't get to just run plays and they don't react to it. Like, you know, it's a little more complicated than that. They try to stop us.
Those guys get paid too. Gregory Murphy says, "Hey Neal, how many transfers you think happened?" Man, I don't know. A bunch. I don't know. I don't know what the rules are going to be. Mm-hmm. That's the craziness. Is it's kind of there are no rules established just yet. A bunch. I mean, the answer not to be, and this is not meant to be smartass at all, is a bunch.
So LSU, they turned in their self-report to their self-sanctions to the NCAA. The NCAA then will decide whether they should get more strict or whether they should take those penalties. It is fun, though, to be able to just do this and know tomorrow we don't have to talk about it, and it's not a topic I have to stay with for the next month.
Yes.
Because you're seeing the same frustrations. Now, look, it's LSU. We know the way that situation works with some relatives and some stuff, but we'll see what happens. But it's fun to watch when it's a different program than the one you cover, with LSU is pissed off at the NCAA because basically the NCAA is lying to them. The NCAA was like, "Oh yeah, we're going to take that basketball and football suit. We're going to separate those for you. No big deal. All good."
Yeah.
And they look up and it's like, "Oh shit, no, that is not happening." So there's a lot of documentation in here. Ross Dellinger says where the NCAA is not being completely forthcoming with the Louisiana State University Tigers at this point.
There's already a lie in here.
Well, look, okay, real quick. So here's what LSU has self-reporting.
Yeah.
That Odell Beckham handed out $2,000 in $100 bills after the national championship game.
There was so much TV. There was so much more money than $2,000.
Well, A, much more than $2,000. B, LSU came out immediately that night and said, "Oh, it's fake money," until Joe Burrow got on Pardon My Take and went, "No, it was real cash, homie." Like, no. And then LSU had to go, "Well, whoops, sorry. Yeah, I guess it was. Whoops, our bad, really." So they do this. This is my favorite, though. Vidal Alexander, very good player for LSU.
Lady of the Lake.
Yeah. $180,000 from Lady of the Lake to his parents for what the NCAA characterized as a no-show job. Essentially, they just handed him cash for no compensation on the other. So
it's not a no-show job; it's a gift.
It's a gift. Here's my best part, though: $180,000.
Yeah.
To an all-SEC level football player. LSU determined that was a level 3 violation. Hold up. Hold on.
Siri, call Chris Kiffin, if you would, please.
Level 3. So this is why it's going to get worse. So, because here's what happened.
Laramie Tunsil on line 1.
The way, when we're very well versed in this, we're frankly experts.
Yes. I know more than I need to know.
Yeah. So the way this penalty structure works is that LSU said, yeah, look, everything we did, that's a level 1 violation or a segment of level 1 violations or whatever.
Uh-huh.
But they have mitigating, standard, and aggravating. They put a sub-clause on all of them.
Yep.
Well, if it's mitigating, that doesn't include a bowl ban. If it's standard or aggravating, it does include at least a 1-year bowl ban.
Okay.
So somehow LSU said, you know what, we think all those are probably mitigating. We don't think those get to the standard of standard there. Now, in saying that, if I'm LSU, I don't either. I mean, I'm going to make the NCAA give me a bowl ban. But come on.
So here's
come on.
Here's my NCAA problem. You know how when we were kids and you know they would say at Sunday school class that all sin is created equal, and you'd be like, no, hold up, time out. I'm just curious. Are you saying that if I steal a candy bar, that's going to be the same as I murdered 3 people? Because I got questions. There's got to be. Look, Ole Miss got caught, okay? Ole Miss got caught. Red-handed, sloppy. All they caught on Ole Miss, though, with Laramie was like $800.
It's $850.
Okay.
Yeah.
So include some of the extra stuff. Let's call it $2,000 for kicks and giggles.
The same exact amount that they're claiming.
Vidal Alexander his family got 90 times that.
Yeah. Documented. Beckham, $2,000, level 3 violation. On the field.
Yep, Beckham, $2,000. Ole Miss gave C.J. Johnson's female friend a few $100 to buy baby formula and stuff, allegedly. Oh. And it's not, you don't have the video of that. That is disputed by some people. Here's my other problem.
Sure.
And this one's personal to me.
Okay.
This one's personal to me. This one pisses me off, all jokes aside. Because we can, like Avery's making an NCAA Emily joke, and it's funny, and I laugh. It's funny. She's having a bad day on the interwebs, I would imagine. I would think so, too. Chris Vaughn, who is a decent human being on his worst day.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? I talked to Marquette Vaughn the other night.
Mm-hmm.
Had a conversation. Because she saw something from Caroline, and we were talking, and I said, can I call? And I said, hey, I'm so excited to see Deuce. I mean, I'm kind of a Kansas State fan right now because every time I see little Deuce Vaughn on the field, I'm like, isn't that awesome? That is so cool.
Yeah, sure.
So Chris Vaughn lost his coaching career.
Completely.
It was taken away from him over NCAA ACT allegations that could not be proven in a court of law. You'd never be able to prove those in a court of law, Chase. And what his role was in those, in my educated opinion, Chris Vaughn was guilty of not knowing something that he probably should have known. He was guilty of naively trusting.
Sure.
They took his career away, Chase. And it turned out to be a blessing. He's working as a scout for the Dallas Cowboys. He got to watch his son play a lot of high school football that Chris otherwise wouldn't have gotten to watch. He got to watch his girl. He has a daughter who's Caroline's age, who is as into dance as Caroline is into dance. And he got to go watch events and competitions and stuff that, trust me, how I know, when that stuff is coming to an end, you get a giant lump in your throat about how much you're going to miss that part of your life.
Sure.
So it ended up, from a personal level, being a blessing. But forgive me for just a minute, but that's total bullshit that he had his career taken away. Where the hell are all the people that ran this operation at LSU? Why the hell are they not brought up? Because what they did was so significantly worse, and they're owning up to it now. What they did is so significantly worse than what Chris Vaughn is alleged to have done. Where is the effing equality in this? We all make our LSU jokes and stuff, and it's funny, ha, ha, ha. But this is bullshit. They laundered money through a children's hospital. and own up to it because they got caught red-handed because it went to federal court. The documentation is there. Mm-hmm. Not only could you prove it in a court of law, it's been proven in a court of law.
And they throw their hands up and go, my bad, whoops, hell. What?
It's total bullshit. It's my problem with the NCAA. In a nutshell, the arbitrariness of it all. They ran Ole Miss through 6 years? Is that how long the damn thing was? And Ole Miss screwed it up. Make no mistake, Ole Miss screwed it up on so many levels that it's hard to have a lot of sympathy for them, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of innocent people got hurt in that. Chris Kiffin, for example. What the hell did Chris Kiffin do that was so wrong? Literally, what did Chris Kiffin do that was so wrong? Nothing compared to this. He didn't launder any money through a children's hospital. I mean, the joke is he let Laramie sleep on his couch and they fed him. What else were they supposed to do? Hey, no, you can't eat.
Slept on a couch and had a bowl of pasta.
I mean, I'm sure
spaghetti.
I'm sure she's a fabulous cook, but I mean, we're not talking about a $45 meal here. I'll tell you what it is. It's obscene. It's an insult to intelligence, and it's obscene. And if LSU gets away with just 8 scholarships over 2 years, and even if they get a 1-year bowl ban that they sort of secretly push for because they're looking forward to moving on from Ed Orgeron anyway, if they get away with that, there needs to be a formal investigation into exactly how that came about. Because after I watched what happened to Ole Miss, and this isn't me defending Ole Miss. Again, for the record, Ole Miss was so sloppy that they deserved a lot of what they got.
Sure.
Couldn't have run the whole thing worse. Inconsistent. Fought half the time, didn't fight some of the time, rolled over some of the time, didn't roll over some of the time. The draft night thing was such a horrible optic that you knew that night that they were going to get hammered. But was that optic any worse than Odell Beckham on the field? Which optic was worse? Laramie Tunsil getting caught texting, I guess, essentially Barney Farrar, Hey, I need some money for the light bill? Which was worse, that or Odell Beckham going, here it is. It's raining, baby. Which one's worse?
That thing with Laramie, we didn't even amount to anything. They actually cleared that through the opportunity fund.
Right. But I'm saying from an optical standpoint, which look is worse?
Yeah.
A kid asking, hey, I need a little money?
No, for the most part, they'd go, hey, God, we got to find a way to stipend these athletes. You know what I mean? The normal human's going, God, he can't.
Right.
The All-American can't pay his light bill?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, that was the literal proof that night.
Yeah.
That text that night was proof of this. Here, it really was. Because if Laramie Tunsil's getting taken care of at Ole Miss the way that the people at Georgia alleged that he was, he's not asking for some money for the effing light bill. The truth is, here's the truth about the Hugh Freeze. This is what really pisses me off. I'm going to defend Hugh Freeze for a moment. You never thought that day would happen. This day's full of surprises, isn't it, Chase?
You still sitting top shelf up there.
Hugh Freeze didn't have the resources to cheat the way that people allege them to cheat. Look at the recruiting battles they lost in those years. Well, holy shit, man. If they could have run money through Our Lady of the Lake, Peyton Barber might have come. Carl Lawson might have come.
Elijah Daniel.
Vernon Hargrave.
Ooh.
They didn't get those guys. The kid from Indiana that flipped to Auburn at the end.
That was Elijah Daniel.
That was his name? I don't know. I can't remember. It's been a minute. I've documented. There's nothing more expensive than defensive linemen. How many big-time defensive linemen did Ole Miss land during that time? They landed one, and they got him because the previous staff, through Providence, signed his brother.
Yeah.
And again, I'm telling you, my source on this is Beverly Kimdichie. If Robert Kimdichie had signed with Middle Tennessee, if Denzel had signed with Middle Tennessee, that's where Robert was going. So put that aside. Oh, Ole Miss paid Robert Kimdichie. Oh, come on. I mean, I'm sure ultimately they did give him some spending money because everybody takes care of everybody when they get on campus. That's just the way it works. But from a pay-for-play standpoint, who else did they get? They didn't get Chris Jones, and God knows they tried. They didn't get Carl Lawson, and God knows they tried. How many kids would they have gotten if they had Our Lady of the Lake over there? If one kid's getting $180,000, you're telling me he's the only kid they paid?
Might have had Jeffrey Simmons and Chris Jones on the field with you.
I mean, if you believe that's the only kid they paid in that time in Baton Rouge, I don't know what to tell you.
To you.
I'd love to watch some of the cable news shows with you tonight and hear your thoughts.
Yeah. Oh, Lord. Podcast brought to you in part by Visit Oxford. Visit oxfordms.com is the website. See all the events going on for home football weekend, as well as Halloween coming up soon. The holiday season not too far away. Double-decker bus be outside the stadium from 9 to 11 a.m. on Saturday. You got music on the City Hall Plaza post-game Saturday from 4 to 6. That's Kevin Geyer and John McCloud. Also, Record Store Day is on Saturday. And then tonight, you got a double feature at the drive-in out at County Motors. You got Harry Potter, you got the Never-Ending Story, and then the Oxford Film Festival continuing the drive-in on the 24th with the Addams Family and Ghostbusters, on the 30th with Halloween and Night of the Loup-Garou, and on the 31st on Halloween night with Army of Darkness and Halloween. So that is your drive-in schedule. Again, you can find out more. Visit oxfordms.com. You
guys have seen us model Blue Delta jeans.
Literally.
Now it's time for you to get a pair yourself if you're coming in this weekend. I know it's Ole Miss and Auburn, 11 a.m. on Saturday. The store hours are 10 to 6. If you need to make an appointment, you can do that. Send them an email, info@bluedeltajeans.com, or you can climb into their social media, DM them on Instagram, Twitter, whatnot, and set up your own appointment for your own private fitting so that you can get your own pair of Blue Delta jeans. You will absolutely love them, I promise. We're also brought to you by Pinnacle Trust. Pinnacle Trust based in Madison, Mississippi. They've got clients in multiple states, advisors in multiple states as well. And you can get in touch with them at pintrust.com, PINNtrust.com. Mention you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the podcast. You'll get 10% off your first year's fees. If you're looking to get away, which we talked about getting away in early November potentially, I ought to get in touch with John Edwards and say, hey, hypothetically, what might be a really good beach to go to? He knows deals that I could not find on my own on the internet. He can help you too. All you got to do, give him some parameters, give him a budget, and let him give you options. You don't have to live near Memphis to take advantage of his services. 901-494-3387, or send him an email, j.edwards@regencytravel.net. Also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan's the place to go. They got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles, great lease deals as well. It's Grenada Nissan USA.com. Yeah, and let me be clear, because in the thread, I'm not saying that Ole Miss didn't do stuff on the recruiting trail. They did. If you don't, you have no chance in this league.
Yeah, just the level that.
But, I mean, it's like, I think someone did a speed limit thing one day, and I always thought that was pretty interesting. The speed limit's 70. You can go 82, 83, you're all right. When you're funneling money through a children's hospital, you're going 125. Everybody notices you're speeding at that point. If you're speeding along with the traffic, if everybody's going 82 and you go 82, that's all good.
You know, every conference has its own speed limit. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're in this. Yeah, you're going to be doing 78 to 82. Okay.
Yeah, it's about 85.
Yeah.
Everybody's going about 85. And if everybody goes 85, no one says anything if someone goes 86.
Yeah.
But you go 130, a little different deal.
Yeah.
They ought to get hammered. That's the truth.
What do you think happens?
I don't know. You going to predict them? I mean, really? Come on. You want to predict the NCAA? I mean, there's a better chance of me predicting the final vote count in Pennsylvania.
You missed the NCAA podcast?
The podcast? No. Look,
it was kind of fun coming in that day going, oh, well,
here we go.
Yeah, button.
No, it was tiring. Those wore you out. That whole era wore you out. Everybody was so tense, and it was so buttoned up and secretive.
But every day was something.
Every day. It was drama. It was a soap opera.
I mean, the day we had the Lindsey Miller TMZ photos
that was
with his
fun.
black eye and the whole deal. And
well, that was the fun day when I went to the courthouse, and I went to the trial. It was just me and John Davis from the Oxford Eagle.
Arguing that his knee is injured from the fight. He's wearing Laramie's red offensive line knee brace.
Yeah,
the big hulking thing that they put on their knees.
And I'm laughing and trying not to laugh because that sheriff,
because the bailiff's mad at
he's
you.
in the back, but he's mad. He's not really mad at me because he's mad because if I keep laughing, he's going to start laughing. And so I'm just biting. I'm biting my tongue, my lip. I'm squeezing things. I'm trying to just. It was such a spectacle, and I'm thinking this is a gold mine. It's just me and John in here, and at the time I don't. The Eagle.
It was an afternoon publication.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't have a deadline. I know what I'm writing this Friday afternoon. I'm probably gonna beat John to the punch here.
It's been my running joke on that. Is Faris himself came and thought, okay, hold on. There's no way you were necessary to not send an associate or some dude over. Yeah. But no, he went, I'm not missing this spectacle.
Yeah.
Like Steve went, clear the schedule today. I'm gonna go argue against Lindsey Miller today.
What I remember about it was so funny until
because a couple times he got kind of like, okay, I can't even.
Oh yeah, no. It was the prize fight.
With the kid.
Yeah, it was a prize fight.
He lost the taste for it
when he realized that this guy can't defend himself. I can sit here and pummel him, but what's in it for me?
Yeah.
And then when the kid got up there and started crying and stuff,
Faris backed off.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah,
completely, and just hey, we'll.
That's enough.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I rest my case, Your Honor.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry we're all here.
I mean,
made for a fun bit on the podcast for a while, the whole Lindsey Miller Esquire thing.
Well, Tunzel, by the way, took Twitter to storm yesterday with his block against Clowney and the other dude. Oh no, he's gonna be all right. Gonna hang around.
What a shock that Laramie's gonna be good.
I know it's a running joke, but we get tired of talking about it. But it is still uncanny that they screwed up that 15 season after getting through all those games undefeated without him.
Okay, well, this is a good example, right? But Laramie Tunsil didn't get to play for the first 7 games of that season.
Yeah. He wasn't on the field in Tuscaloosa.
Laramie got labeled.
Yeah.
And what did Laramie allegedly do? He kept a loaner car too long. Not a new car. Not a fancy car. A loaner car. Now, was that against the law? Yeah. Should Ole Miss have figured it out? Yeah. Should Ole Miss have done something about it more actively than they did? Yeah.
But actually, the one thing, though, that's incredibly hard to prove, because I think it was Corey or somebody was talking to us about back in the time, that there's really no repercussion on length of a loaner car visit. Like, it's just sort of one of these things. It's all out there in space. Look, Laramie was tagged his whole career.
Mm-hmm.
In the recruiting process, oh, well, he's getting this and this and this and this and this. He went to Ole Miss because it was kind of low-key.
Yeah.
He had a bad visit at Alabama. He had a bad visit at Georgia.
His mom
called Ole Miss and goes, just kind of like the Michael Ortui thing, take him out for some pasta and let him go play some video games. He doesn't want to go to the library at 12:45.
He didn't want to be out till 4 in the morning.
Just chill.
He's still kind of chill.
Yeah. That's not him.
He's a multimillionaire, and he's still pretty chill. Yeah. But back then, he was kind of shy, kind of funny.
I mean, he would come into town with Jimmy Sexton and just order a sandwich and then leave. Like, that's his deal.
Yeah.
That's what kind of was annoying about it, is you got a lot of dudes and a lot of recruits who absolutely, hey, give it all to me and I'm going to be out and I'm going to chase women and the whole deal. He was the epitome of the opposite.
Well, like someone mentions Laquan Treadwell in this thread. And
Laquan liked the attention.
And Laquan was a big 5-star kid and all that stuff, but was it Oklahoma or Oklahoma State?
It was Oklahoma State.
One of the Oklahomas, I can't remember which, screwed up his recruiting.
Oh, no, Oklahoma screwed up his recruiting. Oklahoma State took him to dinner twice at Panda Express during his visit.
Yeah.
That was, I was like, what are you doing? That's what it was.
If you tell me I could write a story about one kid's recruiting, it might be his.
Treadwell?
If only if I got it all. Got to get it all on the record where I can write the whole thing.
Got it all, huh?
The whole thing.
Huh? All of it?
All the way.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. You'd go all the way with it?
I wouldn't, but I'd write the story all the way. I sure would. Yep.
The things you guys don't know. Sorry. The statute of limitations is not up, so we're not there yet. Okay. Anyway. What's Feinbaum talking about? Leif said he's watching Feinbaum. That his freeze is going to be on in a little bit. I'm sure he's going to thank Neal for defending him. That'd be great.
Yeah.
He will. I'll shoot him a text, ask if he will.
So they're getting Freeze on. So we're starting is Hugh Freeze a candidate at SEC jobs? Is that what we're doing here?
Bellman wrote the story, and I get why you write it, and it's fine, whatever.
I missed it.
He wrote about just, hey, Hughes could make people talk, blah, blah, blah,
okay.
blah, could get at the job. But they're framing it around, well, see, he got his first Power 5 win. You, me, and Rizzo could beat Syracuse.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. But
Rizzo's not getting tackled by Syracuse. Their run defense is so bad, they're never bringing him down.
That's a good point. Gus could score against Syracuse.
I don't know about that.
He still doesn't move around at all, does he?
No, he plays.
He's fit now.
Oh, he's pretty fit now.
But does he have some energy?
Oh, yeah. No one loves tug of war more than Gus.
Oh, really?
Oh, loves it.
He's the tug of war one.
Loves it.
As long as you'll sit there and pull on that son of a gun.
Yeah, absolutely. What he'll do at night is he'll go get a rope.
Yeah.
And he wants you to pet him first.
Okay.
So you pet on him and you love on him, and he acts like he's going to chill for a minute. And then as soon as you get through petting him, he gets up and he goes to his basket and he gets a rope and he comes over to me almost always and starts growling, basically challenging me to a game of tug. And if I say okay, and I get, it's easier for me to. It's not a far drop for me to get down to the level of a Labrador Retriever, and so I start tugging and growling back, and he'll tug for 30 minutes.
So, look, Freeze has done a good job. He's in a great fit for him at Liberty. He is. He's a good football coach.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to win some games.
Sure.
It just feels early. Like he beat Syracuse. And, yeah, he's 5-0, but here's his 5 wins. Syracuse, ULM, UNA, FIU, and WKU.
Ooh.
Okay. You're favored in all those games.
Yeah.
Like, those are 5 bad programs. Now, if you want to argue this, he's going to get some opportunities. And now, he doesn't have to even win these games, but if he impresses the rest of the season.
Okay.
He plays Southern Miss, so he'll be 6-0 because they'll be.
They're horrible.
But 3 of their last 5 games, Coastal Carolina, good team, kind of in that group of 5 top team standpoint.
Okay.
On their tier. NC State, Virginia Tech.
Okay.
Go beat one of them.
He'll get opportunities. Yeah, for sure.
Go beat Justin Fuente. Go beat Dave Doran. See what happens. So, yeah, do you have the opportunities there to get put there? It just feels a little like we're forcing it right now. That's all. Given his baggage. Now, look, none of the baggage, and he's just at Liberty? Yeah, sure. Have at it.
Sure.
But
not only does he have the personal stuff, he's got the NCAA stuff. Who's hiring him in the league?
He was cleared.
Officially.
But I'm an AD. He was cleared.
OJ was cleared.
OJ plays golf every day. That's not going to be a hindrance.
NBC didn't put OJ back on the air.
That's not going to be a hindrance for Hugh Freeze, the NCAA part.
Okay.
I don't believe so.
The SEC level, you don't think? Tennessee opens up. Auburn opens up.
I don't think he coaches in the SEC.
I don't either.
But I think the Big 12
and
the SEC are all there.
He wants the SEC.
Oklahoma State, would they go after?
Maybe.
Gundy's done?
Maybe. No sign that Gundy's leaving anytime soon.
Well, no. I don't know. There's your Hugh Freeze thing. But, yeah, Bruce Feldman did.
I missed that.
Yeah, he wrote it. It was today, this morning, last night, something like that.
So that's why Freeze is in the news today.
Probably one of the reasons, yeah. Well, I mean, again, they're all playing up he beat an ACC team. He beat Syracuse.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I mean, it would be like right now beating Vanderbilt and going, hey, SEC win. Well,
remember when Dino Babers was all that in a box of chocolate?
It was get out when you can out. Anybody offering him? That's why, I mean, nobody blamed PJ Fleck. Hey, you got an offer? Take that son of a gun. Go. Whatever. Just saying. Let's see. We'll go over picks tomorrow night. What are we watching tomorrow night?
I don't know. We got to figure out what we're doing.
Oh, yeah, we don't know the time yet. We haven't figured it out. We'll let you guys know.
I don't want to go up against the debate.
Because I don't want to talk about it, frankly.
Well, you can't hear it.
Yeah, we would, but no.
Yeah.
We're not going to be doing that. We'll tell you whatever we're doing on tomorrow night. I don't know the answer yet. We'll figure it out. By the way, Van Gundy just got hired to coach the Pels.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I got some dad jokes for you if you want to hear them. What's Forrest Gump's Facebook password?
What?
One Forrest one.
Okay.
Why didn't the Melons get married? Because they cantaloupe.
What I got? You got one more.
What did the fisherman say to the magician?
Go ahead.
Pick a cod, any cod.
Okay. You done? You got one more?
What do you call an illegally parked frog?
I don't know.
Toad.
Oh, yeah, I was about to say toad. Yeah. That one I actually got just as you were saying it.
How can you tell it's a dogwood tree?
Oh.
From the bark.
Okay.
All right, last one. What's the best way to watch a fly fishing tournament? Live stream.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Hugh Freeze is not going to be the next coach of Texas.
No. Come on.
That is not going to be the case. He and Ketch would get along great, though. That'd be fun. Let's watch that train wreck over the course of the days and months.
I'd love to see something like that.
Oh, man.
I mean, we'll do a show tomorrow. I'm guessing either late afternoon or early evening. It's my guess, but we'll be done before debate. I'd like to watch the debate.
You're going to watch?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, because you're finding entertainment value in these things.
Well, I'll say this. I think it's a potentially fascinating debate to watch. Joe Biden's had 4 days. If the Hunter Biden thing comes up, I don't know that he can just pass it off the way that he did on Sunday night and go, it's a scam, it's a farce. He can do what he wants, and the media is going to cover for him. But the population that watches that, do they go, ooh? Because so much of the people, a lot of the people who are Biden, it's because they just anybody but Trump.
Yeah, sure.
Because they think Trump's a crook and they think Trump's a bad guy. If Biden comes across as a crook and a bad guy, do they go, well, I can have my choice between 2 crooks, 2 bad guys, and one's been pretty good in my 401k.
See, yeah, I know.
Because it wouldn't take much shift to swing the thing.
Yeah, there's no doubt. So we will we'll let you know. We'll tell you what we're doing on the board, on Twitter, all the places that we have the ability to get that to you. Again, a lot of stuff at rebelgrove.com today, including whatever the commitment thing is, football-wise.
Yeah, we got football. We've got a lot of stuff. Let me tell you this real quick. We're also brought to you by Whitney McNutt. My mailbag's up. Speaking of something that's up, it's brought to you by Tommy Morgan Incorporated Realtors, serving you for all your real estate needs in Oxford and Tupelo. She sells condos, land, commercial, residential, family homes. 662-567-2573. Or 662-842-3844. Also brought to you by Bain, Moss, and Bowen, based in Corinth. They have experience that's unmatched, and you can tap into it by visiting them at 618 East Waldron Street in Corinth. They're calling them at 662-287-1620. Also brought to you by Meadowbrook Wealth Advisors of Raymond James, a team in Jackson providing planning and investment guidance to clients across the state and surrounding areas. Financial advisors Bill Geary, Logan Phillips, Chris Carrero, and Ryan Geary are partners with a commitment to personalized service. 601-368-2215. They are a part of New York Stock Exchange SIPC. We'll have the Rogue sponsors Scoreboard Business. Our pregame show, it starts at 9 on Saturday. Don't forget to visit the Rogue at 4450 I-55 North in Jackson or at therogue.com. And we're brought to you by Heritage Properties, 3 communities in Oxford. Faulkner Flats, Cambridge Station, Lexington Point. All 3 properties are multifamily housing. They all offer on-site management and maintenance. They're pet-friendly, and they offer short-term leases. You can reach them at 662-234-4558. Here's the thing that's interesting to talk about the debate. The one thing, why am I watching? Why am I interested? Because if I'm Trump, I'm glad there's a mute button. If I'm Trump, I don't even want to use my time. I want Joe Biden to talk. I want him to talk a lot.
Well, that's the strategy, but he doesn't.
I don't know that he's capable.
No, he doesn't.
He has that. Donald Trump is the guy in a weight room, okay, that instead of having a quality, productive workout, no, I have to lift more than anyone else in here. And if that means that the bar's falling all over the place and the weights are going everywhere, so be it. I'm in here, by God, pumping.
And I'd like for you to
iron.
watch me while I do it too. That'd be
And
great.
I need you to watch. Yeah, and I'm going to be the one screaming and yelling and and all that stuff. Not the guy getting a pretty productive workout in an hour.
Going about his
business, listening to some music.
Yeah.
Every once in a while you might hear him breathe heavy. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's Trump. And Trump needs to have the really efficient workout and let Joe Biden have to lift the heavy weight. And because here's the deal. He's walking into this thing behind. If Biden can handle it, you're losing anyway. Your one chance of winning this election 2 weeks out is that Biden has such a horrific debate, answering questions, comes across as senile, where people get doubt and go, whoa.
I said on debate one, the move would have been for Trump just to shut up, to be the adult in the room and go,
yeah.
Okay. Well, either one of them, frankly. Just shut up.
Like if I'm him, if I'm Trump, I'm taking my opening statement of 2 minutes and I'm saying, I'd like to pose a couple of questions that I'm not completely confident, whatever her name is, the moderator.
Kristen, whatever.
I'm not confident that you're going to ask. So I'd like to ask the vice president now, are you going to pack the court if you win? Because I'm not going to pack the court if you win. Are you going to grant statehood to D.C. and Puerto Rico if you win? Because I'm not. And when you say that there will be no new taxes, when you walk in day one and reverse my taxes, those are new taxes. Because if I'm elected, I'm not cutting anyone's taxes. We're going to rebuild the economy. Here's how we're going to do it. That's really all I have to say, Kristen. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Pleasure to be here with you today. Be an adult for once and see if he hangs himself.
Yeah.
And then later in the thing, if it becomes obvious that she's not going to do it, I don't beat up on Hunter Biden. I ask him about his associations with those.
No, you don't beat up on the kid.
Your name is in those emails. Can you tell the American public right now that those emails are false?
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that the FBI has this, and
we'll see.
Because he hadn't said it yet. It's been 7 days.
Yeah.
Those are his only opportunities to win the election. And so as someone like you who loves campaigns and stuff, I'm fascinated to see whether he has the discipline to do it. My overwhelming guess is no.
Yeah. So. All right, back tomorrow at some point that we let you know. Again, tons of stuff at rebelgrove.com, and we will talk to you then.